the links for Odysee, Bit Chute, or to support the channel on Coffee, Subscribestar, or the various other links. There's a Telegram, a Discord, and a Gabs, and this sort of thing. So this is an article by Cohen, guest writer, who I'm not saying this just to be a jerk, but I read her article and I read some of her Twitter. I think she's not all there. She doesn't, I'm guessing borderline personality disorder, somewhere on the spectrum. Something's not quite right with her. I mean that she's not able to read, she's not able to be cognizant of how the world perceives her behavior. How ordinary people would view this as reprehensible, stalker, pushing the boundaries of what's socially permissible in civilized society between people, how subversive and corrupt and slimy it is. That's what I mean when I say she has borderline personality disorder. Most people are reading this and we're getting one viewpoint of this. This could be the shortest video ever. She says her proposed argument is, I joined a far-right group, alleged far-right group of moms. What I witnessed was frightening. I caught a gleam in the woman's eye I didn't like. Was there some flirtation with insurrection being suggested? Okay. Her name is Cohen. So, no, you didn't join a far-right group, Ms. Cohen, because there are no Cohens in far-right groups. I can blow up the image, but the image looks like what you expect the image to look. She's in her early 40s. She has a special needs kid, probably because she had the kid too late. And honestly, because I think she's on the spectrum herself. And she joined a group of moms that she calls far-right. No, that's not how the far-right works. So this is a much shorter article. Her original article goes on for pages. It's I don't know if she's getting paid, but I guess you get paid on clicks. But it's very few people, unless you're reading the article to talk about it, are going to read the whole thing. It's kind of the ramblings of an insane person. So they do an article and they're showing you this image of the alleged far right moms, and I can tell looking at this pixelated image that 3 of the moms are not of European origin. The rest of the moms are, but you're talking about, I don't know how many, what are there, 10 in there? So it's like 30% are not a European origin. So I'm not quite sure what kind of far-right group has possible 2 Mediterranean-ish mixed and 1 clearly Asian, East Asian mix in the group. The rest do appear like they're all blonde or strawberry blonde. Kind of interesting collection. That's not a far-right group. That's not how far-right groups work. If you think, can I focus? If you think you can join a far-right group with a name like Cohen, then you've never met a far-right group. Like, what's the color of the sky in your world? And I'm saying this honestly, I hope your worldview is never shattered. I hope you never meet a far-right group. Because it's not, like, you're so deeply out of touch with what a far-right group would be. You think this group of moms took you and your kid in, they allowed you to meet with them, and they talked about how concerned they were about their kid's education. And you wrote an article in the Huffington Post about them. And you don't see how the world views you as something slimy beneath their feet, just how evil and subversive you are, how you're perceived to the world. It's like, why do people hate you? Honestly, I think there's something wrong with her. I think there's like something organically wrong with her. Anyway, so Democrats are using January 6th, the protest, to go after everyone. The left is drummed up, and that's kind of all the left has right now is January 6th. That's why they're trying to blow so much oxygen on it. And most normal people are watching the media and are like, yeah, we're not seeing this. Like, you've ignored Antifa and BLM for the past several years. Well, they've burned buildings and they've snuggled and deleted people from this mortal coil. You've completely ignored that. Like, cities have been just devolved into chaos with I mean, Memphis, St. Louis, Chicago, Oakland, any city with vibrant multicultural, diverse enrichment, you can get a homicide, more than one homicide a day in these cities. Memphis is, I mean, you got to figure like per capita percentages and like density and volume and that kind of stuff of the city. But like Chicago and Memphis, those are like that. That's like one or two people are getting blasted a day, and that's just part and parcel of living life in those cities. And to think that we're going to get you so worked up over January 6th is insane. I mean, the disconnect between how the media is what they're dealing with and how people are perceiving the narrative they're pushing. Like, people are looking to the CNN. It's like, why did CNN's ratings suddenly take a dip? Well, I'm sure all the mainstream media took a dip after Trump, because you look at Biden and it's like, there's not much of a story here other than he's a dementia patient. Anyway, so Phoebe Cohen went behind enemy lines to find out if, okay, the thing is, obviously the name, there's no far right, there's no Cohens allowed in the far right, you fucking idiot. Her face also is distinct. You can look at a picture of her, you know she's would not be allowed in the far right. If this is what you consider the far right, there's a lot of blondes, but the three who are not white, I don't know what she is, but she's not of European origin, and she's clearly Japanese. I'm in California, and usually you can tell Koreans, Japanese, and Chinese apart. You got to be, if you spend enough time around them. I don't know. But my point is, they're clearly not all of European origin. But Phoebe Cohen said that they all appeared white to her. And maybe it was a different group, or maybe she only met with part of the group. Fair enough. But, how sleazy is that she said, for the most part, she said, for the most absurd part of her column was when she said the mother's congeniality showed just how dangerous the group was, because they were friendly. That was how she knew not to trust them, because they were friendly to her and her autistic child. She wrote, "Despite my uneasiness, I couldn't help but find myself liking the women in the room. Cohen sounds like a chick who's never had friends her whole life. She got pregnant, she had some kid, and she would be best kept away. Here's the thing: if you're these moms groups, or if you're any group on the right of center group, you got to gatekeep. And I know it feels like a dick to do that, but someone like a Cohen who's coming in there, you got to keep those people out. There's no far right people. There's no Cohens in the far right for a reason. This is not a far right group, obviously, but I mean, any group, even a moderate group, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can't have these kind of people jumping in your group. They had no problem letting my low-functioning autistic son play with their child, which is unfortunately rare among a lot of other mothers. Okay, so they treated you very well. But this made me even more uneasy. I realized these women were dangerous precisely because they were so friendly." Obviously, it's a logical fault, a logical fallacy. It's an unfalsifiable premise, looks like. You can't, it's like just proving the negative here. It's also the ramblings of an insane person who is spend too much time alone and too much time in her own head, probably because people find her hard to deal with. Cohen went in with the notion that these women were far right, and evidence to the contrary only served to further proof of her original premise. The left are experts at this. There's no Cohen in the far right, Cohen. Surely you must know this. And she doesn't say it in her article, and this article doesn't touch on it either. Like most of these normies won't touch on this kind of stuff, but you got to go there. You got to at least admit that. Okay, Rubin, okay, Shapiro, welcome to the far right. How does that work exactly? Oh, because I think the Proud Boys, because they Proud Boys have Israeli members. Well, I hate to break it to you kids, but the Proud Boys is not the far right. They're a bunch of normies. To be fair, I think there are some base guys who are hanging out in groups like that. They're waiting to kind of branch out to another group that becomes available. That's kind of normal with all groups. Like, you can have most normie milquetoast groups, and there are going to be all kinds of people in it. Anyway, Cohen was troubled with the fact that the mothers in the group were concerned about the neo-Marxist philosophy, Karl Marx, Moses Mordecai Levy. of critical race theory being filtered into the schools. She parroted the talking points that CRT is not being taught. I'm in a meeting held by a local right-wing moms group. It's an organization catering to mothers who are bent on protesting at school board meetings to stop these supposedly evil critical race theory. Well, anything anti-white is evil by definition from being taught in school boards. And they're using these CRTs loosely. It's probably a better phrase would be to use the term anti-white. And address other typically conservative concerns. Critical race theory is not currently being taught in public schools. Again, is anti-whiteism being taught in public schools? You need to fight back against that. That is a great evil. Cohen are playing a semantics game. Of course she is. Again, you can read her Twitter. She's not all there. CRT, as the arcane legal theory, is not being taught in K-12, but its principles, arose by another names is going to smell as foul. Anyway, this is you can find this online. It's a trip. Her original article is this is pretty small point font. Goes on and on and on. Some of these people literally do not believe white privilege exists because, according to them, would you address black privilege or Jewish privilege or Asian privilege? Until you're willing to address those very real things, I'm not interested in addressing some straw man for you to tilt at windmills against. This is nonsense. If you want to go down this path, which we're going down whether you want to go down it or not. So I guess it's all a moot point. What can I say? Support the channel on Coffee or through the other means. Join the Discord has got terms of service, and apparently, it's like I said, I've always said it's kind of a bit of a free speech platform. So, just lost another Discord for a terms of service violation. So I got a third Discord, but I also got a Telegram this time because the Telegram has got, if you download the Telegram from the telegram.org, not from the Apple or Google App Store, you will be able to get access to all the channels. It's unfiltered. And I don't know what it takes to get kicked off a Telegram. There is another chat beyond that, the Mattermost chat, but I think Telegram kind of works for now. It's open, and then the Mattermost would be like if I keep getting kicked off chats, I'll just form something a little bit more private, and that means you got to do backgrounds into people's social media to make sure they're not SJWs, which I guess I should do for the Discord, because otherwise the Discord just gets I guess I should do it for this. Good thing is there's the last Discord, there's only 60 people in it. I remember before I got kicked off, I remember it flashed up and it said there's 61 people in this Discord. I don't know if that's active members or total. It's probably total members. And it's things I probably could have gone through and at least checked the social media. Be like, okay, what's your Gab or what's your Twitter, what's your social media? It's like, oh, I don't have any social media. Okay, well you're blocked. Because maybe I'll do that for this Discord because there's only a dozen people in it so far. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Because otherwise it's you get a Discord for a few months and you're just going to get kicked out. Or the thing is, you can have the links. I can set the links to expire and then check each. Because it max at I don't think the Discord's going to have more than 100 people in it. So it's it's not too many that I could, I'd be able to check it. But the thing is, the Telegram, I don't think the Telegram has any rules whatsoever. Don't go in there saying anything that would get the FBI knocking or kicking down your door. But I don't think you're going to get kicked out of Telegram for the stuff that people say on Discord. They're very free with language on Discord. I get distracted. Anyway, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.